Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex or Nuznuz here, and today RuneScape's newest boss was just announced, and we're going to be talking about it and everything regarding its release and the details today, so make sure you like this video and let's get into it. So, the newest Elder God Wars front was announced today, which is the croseus front, which will be RuneScape's first ever skilling boss. Now, like I said, this is going to be RuneScape's first ever skilling boss, and it will use a variety of different skills to fight the boss, such as mining, fishing, hunter, and woodcutting. It's going to be a group skilling boss that makes players work together to defeat the boss, similar to how Big Game Hunter works, but for groups. Now, people may be upset that this is a skilling boss and not a PvM boss, but I'm actually super excited for this, as I really enjoyed something like Big Game Hunter, and if croseus is done right, then this seems super intriguing and could be an amazing boss. Now, this is coming actually really soon, in 1 week on September 27th, which is in like 6 days, like I said, which is super soon, way sooner than I personally expected. But the mods did say that there are different teams working on each front, so this front was being developed by a separate team than the others entirely, which could bode for a smoother release process. Now, Mod True said they wanted to make this boss feel very ominous and have a bit of a horror feel, and have skilling spots that can be used to gather items through skilling for a variety of different uses. So they have these skilling nodes, and Mod True said for players who aren't interested really in combat or high level PvM, you should be able to find content that is really intriguing and fun here, and he hopes the same can be said for big PvMers, that they can find a good amount of enjoyment from the croseus front as well. So all the nodes in this area are level 88 to 92 for skilling, and the 4 core skills you're going to be using at the boss and also around the area to skill are woodcutting, which you'll be woodcutting fungus, you'll be fishing fungus, you'll be mining, which you'll be mining a yellow fungus off of different dead bodies, and finally there are hunter nodes, which you'll catch fungi spores. It's a very creepy and gruesome environment altogether, and it really gives off like a gruesome sort of Ganodermic polypore dungeon vibe, kind of mixed with like Mauritania, so I'm really digging the vibe of this. So Mod Shrew said that the resources that you gather have multiple uses, and the resources you gather outside the skilling fight can be used to benefit you in the croseus boss fight, which is very interesting. And it really reminds me a lot of dungeoneering when you're making potions or, cooking food in the dungeon to prepare yourself for the boss fight. And I really like that here. I think it's very cool. So for the mechanics that they would let us know, because they really don't want to let us know any mechanics like the Archglacier, because they want us to kind of go into it blind since it's the first ever skilling boss, and I understand that. So for what we know, you can have a group size for up to 50 people, which is actually absolutely huge. And Mod True also said that you may find it harder with more people, but it is massable. So the recommended group size that they recommend is 8 people, and you get drops in the same way that you would a standard boss. They're based off your contribution to the encounter. So with a smaller team, you'll be getting more loot, although in an average team, you'll still be rewarded decently. So Matru also said your contribution really does matter in showing what loot you get, so you can't go in there and just AFK and expect to get anything, because you will not get any loot, and I kind of like this. It stops people from like leeching the encounter, and it should make it an all-around good time for everybody. Now, croseus just has the one standard mode and not hard mode, and croseus can actually not ever be killed, but can be driven back and contained, which is the main goal for the encounter. During the encounter, you will lose stats, your stats will be drained, and you can actually lose during this encounter and fail to drive croseus back. It's designed as a group experience, so working together, they said, is very important, and having each person work and know their role at certain times to optimize kills will be very important as well. So the boss does have a pet, and it is required for Golden Reaper, Insane Final Boss, all those titles, and you can actually get croseus the skilling boss as a Reaper assignment, so it's a good way for skillers to be able to go and get some Reaper points, seeing as you can do this boss as a Reaper assignment, so pretty interesting there for a skilling boss. Alright, so now we're going to be talking about the rewards of the Croseus front. For rewards, players can expect to see combat gear in this skilling boss, surprisingly. Now, the first thing that everyone is going to be talking about is the Crypt Bloom armor, which is tier 90 magic tank armor. Now, it's very different to the Raids armor. For this armor, it's very much a tank set that is supposed to kind of revive tank armor. So the armor has 4 set effects. If you have 2 pieces equipped, the armor grants you a 12% damage reduction from magic and an 8% reduction from melee, which is similar to Ganodermic back in the day. Now, with 3 pieces, you'll gain an extra 6% magic and 4% melee reduction. And then for 4 pieces, if you use an Earth spell, these reductions get doubled, which sounds super OP. The goal here is to make you pick if you want to be more offensive or defensive. And then as well with 4 pieces, you'll gain access to the croseus death spores, which is designed for group encounters. And these spores will make it so whenever you get hit, you have a chance to inflict your target with croseus death spores, which gives a vulnerability to your target when attacked from behind. And then the final effect for all 5 pieces of the armor being equipped is if you fall below 20% HP, you'll get a fungal shield, which is sort of like a bonus HP pool that scales with your armor and defense pool, which is kind of like a phoenix necklace. Now, another new item is the Grasping Rune Pouch, which is made of flakes gotten from the boss. It's an upgrade to the normal rune pouch, and you have a 25% chance to save runes using combat spells, and you also get an extra rune slot in the pouch, which sounds absolutely amazing for all mages or PVMers in general. Now, they're also introducing a mining and woodcutting skilling offhand. These are tier 80 offhands, and the hammer for mining has a critical strike chance when mining and critical damage buff while mining, and while mining ores you have a chance to receive death spore arrow tips. Now the woodcutting offhand gives a chance for extra logs, and you have a chance to get splintering arrow tips when woodcutting, which are new arrow tips that have been released. So death spore arrows will give you a 3% critical strike chance when ranging, and when you critically strike, you'll gain a stack of feasting spores. And when you have 5 stacks of feasting spores, you'll gain a buff, giving your next ranged ability being free to cast. It's sort of like a relentless proc. So the more you critically strike, the more you'll have free abilities. So splintering arrows are the other type of arrows released, and they cause any ability after grading dazing shot to apply puncture. It also increases the cap of puncture to 13. Now these are all level 95 arrows. So another reward is the seed bag, which allows you to store a ton of seeds and not have to worry about taking them out and stuff like that. So this is a very nice quality of life improvement. There will also be another upgrade to the Pontifex ring as well, which allows your stats to get drained less in the skilling boss encounter, so the boss will also have the same trove system as the other Elder God Wars bosses. The last reward is the Scripture of Bic, which is a new scripture, which is a skilling god book unlike the others, and while equipped it'll act similar to Grace of the Elves, and you can get a Catalyst of Alteration spawn, which is basically a mushroom that spawns nearby, and when you click it you get a 5% XP increase for a minute, and you can also get some clue scrolls. Now it's weighted towards giving the players elite clue scrolls, and this is great for clue hunters, and there's also a very rare chance to get a master clue as well. So I really like these rewards. I'm super excited for this boss. It seems like just a well thought out boss with a lot of cool rewards, a way to make a group encounter for people to kind of, have fun together, sort of like a mini game, sort of like a mini boss. It just seems like a really cool thing. So let me know what you guys think below. I'll definitely be covering this when it comes out in 6 days, so make sure you subscribe so you can see all the videos on this boss.